Всем привет, добрый день, guys. Good afternoon from Minsk. And where I am right now, I'm in a place called the Park of Stones. And the reason why they call it the Park of Stones is because, as you can see, we have a lot of boulders placed at various different points around this park here. Quite an interesting place. This place was actually set up about nearly 40 years ago, back in 1985. And the idea behind it was that as well as having a nice amenity for the people of the then newly constructed micro-district of Aruche, called after a local river, that they would have a very, very nice amenity to use, to ride away, to walk around, etc. And it's used to symbol the idea that these stones were placed all around the territory during the glacial period. So as the icebergs were melting, they deposited a lot of these big boulders, and so what they did was they gathered all of them in this area and placed them. A nice idea. Yeah, quite a nice place, guys. Nice, peaceful. It's actually quiet as well here. And also as well, if you're coming here to Belarus, you need to be mindful of a couple of things. One of them is, of course, the problem of ticks, and you will see a lot of these signs up around the park warning people of ticks. And what ticks, what they do spread is a disease called Lyme's disease, which of course is very, very debilitating, and it can make your life a misery. Yeah, so be on the lookout. It is a danger here. But anyway, and also as well, if you look at my Polotsk video, I also mentioned the fact that the early Slavs, when they arrived here, they carved carvings on these huge rocks. Some of them actually do have them, but yeah, unfortunately I don't see any here in the park. Yeah, but anyway, guys, you're probably wondering why I'm wearing this top. Of course, yes, unless you have been asleep over the last couple of weeks. Yes, the Rugby World Cup is on at the moment in France, and of course last night Ireland defeated South Africa by 13 points to 8. And yeah, what an exciting game that was. Our lineouts exactly weren't the best, but their kicking was awful, and that kind of saved us. But yeah, it had the smell of a final all over it, to say the least. This is one sport we're good at. Unfortunately, not the game of association football, or soccer, as the Americans call it. That's just what I mentioned about earlier. If you see these signs, just be very, very careful. Ostorojno, kleshi, danger of ticks. As I mentioned, they cause Lyme's disease. Yeah, so anytime you go into a forest or in parks like this, just be careful. Bring some spray. I normally do when I go on adventures with Dr. Ihor Melnikov. Take some spray, anti-tick spray, and it will save you a lot of hassle and bother later on in life. Okay, but anyway, the reason why I'm here is that this video is a follow-on from a previous video that I made at the Slottage factory, and also a follow-on from the live stream that I made last Sunday. And I mentioned a couple of issues that I brought up during the live stream about future collaborations and plans for this channel as such. Now, as I mentioned, probably didn't mention before to you guys, I won't be filming on this channel forever, for basically obvious reasons. And the question that I was asked a lot is, what happens to the channel in the future? In which direction does it go? So a bit of a background story. I actually set up this channel about 4 years ago. And the very first video that I made, I went to a place in Mogilev region, Mogilev Oblast, to a place called Alexandria. And they had the festival of the Yankee Kupala festival. But I made a short film on my mobile phone of a couple of local hottie girls dancing on a stage. And unfortunately I fell victim to the YouTube gods. In fact, I had some background music in the actual film, and it got censored, unfortunately. Yeah, so that's what happened. This is what I mentioned earlier about the hieroglyphics from the first settlers in the region, the Slavic settlers, the Eastern Slavs. And you can see it's in the face of a crucifix, and I don't know if you can actually make out a carving on the stone. Yeah, what an interesting place this place here is. Yeah, and you can still see some of the rocks that pertain to this. Yeah, indeed. But anyway, I was interrupted there. So unperturbed as I wasn't to be put off from the YouTube gods, I decided to make a video about how did I end up in Belarus. And I made this video in response to tons and tons of questions that I got here from people, from friends, acquaintances, workmates, etc. on how the hell did I end up in Belarus. So I decided to make a video, and it was in late July 2019, and I made it just before I went on my vacation to Kaliningrad in Russia. It was the last time I was in Russia, and I went there for about 10 days, came back, and went to check the video and to see how it was doing. It had over 10,000 views, and yeah, it was so I said to myself, why not? Let's do this. I might be onto something quite big here. And with the encouragement from Mr. Bold, Harold Boulder, and Connor Klein, I decided to more or less formally set up this channel. And here we are 4 years later, 22,000 plus subscribers. We've come a long way. I want to thank each and every single one of you guys for being with me on that journey. It's been quite an adventure, to say the least. But I won't be here in Belarus forever. That's quite obvious. And yeah, and that kind of, it has made me think of in which direction, what am I going to do, and in which direction that this channel is going to go. In relation to material here from Belarus and provincial travels and topics and so on, I don't have a lot of places left to go. I've pretty much been all over this country, and in terms of topics, I think I've covered more or less everything. So after that, then probably sometime next year, mid to late next year, if I'm still here, I will probably take this channel off in a completely different direction. Who knows what's going to happen. But yeah, it's been a very exciting journey, to say the least. And you know, it's like this channel, the videos, they'll be here up to for as long as, well, YouTube exists. Even when I'm finished, when I'm done with the channel, I will, who knows, maybe come back at a future date, or you know, leave it as it is. But anyway, I do have some very exciting videos, some very exciting topics left to cover, so stay with me on that. Yeah, I have to say, guys, it is a very beautiful, very soft Sunday afternoon here. It looks like a dolmen. So obviously when they set up this park back in 1985, they decided to put that there. All right, so anyway, that's a bit of an update, guys, from this week. Stay tuned, because I will be uploading some very exciting content. I do have a couple of provincial travels left. This is, after all, late September, and the weather, it's autumn, and the weather is starting to close in for another long, cold winter. Yeah, has to be said. Okay, I'm a bit hungry, so it's time to go for somewhere to eat. So anyway, from the Park of Stones here in Arucha, I bid each and every single one of you a do svidania, do streci. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, and I will see you sometime later. Всем привет, добрый день. I'll tell you where I am right now, guys. I am in Arucha, sampling some of the local fast food choices, and I have to say, I wouldn't recommend it. Look at this. This is grim. This is just absolutely grim stuff. Whoa. 8 rubles 80 kopecks for that. Give me a good old-fashioned Stalovia. Yeah. I will be doing more food o'clocks, by the way, guys. It's just grim. Anyway, I'm going home for some proper dinner. So enjoy the afternoon. I'll see you next week sometime soon. Take care. Do побачення. Slangofo.